stay tuned, find out what we're going to do. And a hint, this is a budget buster. What do we got? Well, you probably saw the thumbnail, but we're just going to shoot through the names of these real quick, and then I'm going to get to the find out which one's the best. And hopefully I don't spill on my fancy keyboard here. So what spurred this? Well, what spurred this is I was able to get 2 bourbons recently that are in the 100+ category, and we're talking the 120-ish area or above on most of the most of these are above 120 accumulation over some time. What started this one is I was able to pick up a Remus Repeal Reserve 7. This was only 100 proof, but I've heard a lot about these. I've never had a chance to get a Remus before. I heard the 6 wasn't great anyway, but let's hope the 7's pretty good. I've never had this one. I can't wait to see where this comes up in the blind because I have no idea about that one. But that one in my area, gosh, what was that? 100 and I don't even remember. It wasn't cheap. I think it was about 110 in my area, which may be a little expensive, but I think it's the cheapest or second cheapest one I have today. Next up, I probably should do this in price order. I know this one was 109 in my area. This is the Barrel Whiskey Private Release. It is the DJA2 blend for whatever that's worth. It is 123 proof. So we've got a big proof difference here. It's going to be kind of cool because we've got proofs ranging all over the place with the prices kind of all expensive. And that one, like I said, 109. It's the only barrel I've tried, but man, I really like it. Haven't had it in a while, so I don't know how it's going to stack up. It usually has a little more effervescent taste to it that I'm usually into the heavy caramels and sweet tastes. Speaking of heavy caramels and sweet taste, a star of this channel is the Sam Houston and the Calumet series. I've got the Calumet 16. This was close to $150-ish in my area. This is 106 proof. So again, we're slotting right in there all over the place. This is rack number, oh, who cares? Batch size, 19 barrels. It's awesome. That's what we know. Calumet is straight bourbon sweetness, usually deep flavors. It's usually just really, really good. The Calumet 15 was good. 16 takes it up another level. I will be looking for good things from that one. One that I may not be looking for good things with, and if this one wins, I won't quit the channel, but it will surprise the heck out of me, is I recently also picked up a Kentucky Owl Magester edition. I don't even know how to pronounce that. This is a limited release. All right, I got to read the little letters in the darkness here. Stay with me. Kentucky Owl Master Blender has collaborated with Scotch Whiskey Master Blender. So we got the Kentucky Owl Blender mixing with, getting with Maureen Robinson, who does a Master Scotch Blender, and they're making a collaboration, and it's still bourbon whiskey. So you got me. It's a finished bourbon whiskey. Boy, the bottle doesn't do... I should have looked that one up for you. It doesn't do a great job of explaining what that is, but it's okay because I've been kind of underwhelmed. It was $160 and I want my money back. But one that I don't want my money back on. The other one that I am just expecting big things out of, one of my all-time favorites ever. I've got one. This one is the Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. Holy smokes, $165. No, it used to be $165 when I picked this up. I saw one in my area, $199. Ooh, things are getting crazy. It's really good. I don't know, about $200. Let's see. Batch 151. This was last year's. 57.48 alcohol by volume. Double that, you get your proof. I don't like it. I don't want to math on the channel, folks. Yeah, so looking at about 114, 115 minus a 0.2, somewhere in there, whatever. Okay, well, that's the lineup, folks. I can't wait. This is not budget. This is, oh, I don't even, you buy these bottles and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get that. And it feels good when you get it. And then you line them up and you're like, that's almost $600 worth of whiskey right there. I could have done a lot with that, but tasting it is awesome. That's what we do. So without further ado, my lovely wife poured these. I know the bottles. Obviously, I don't know what's in the glasses. I'm going to go from my left to right, your right to left, starting with, I know A. I haven't looked at the bottles, so I just want to make sure they're in order. Let's go to A. Oh, and I'm not expecting any of these to disappoint on the nose. Even the Kentucky Owl, which I had about a week ago, and let's just say the second tasting was better than the first. The first, I just wish I could have returned it. Okay, this one is heavy, like field spice, like cinnamon, but I'm walking through a field of cinnamon. It's just wafting up as I walk with a light breeze. There is some, this one's spicy. Deep notes of spice, some vanilla, honey vanilla on the bottom. Oh, that's very interesting. It's like you pick up a flower and you go to smell it and it bites you a little bit. And you go back and there's almost a mint to it. It's like a cinnamon mixed with a spearmint. Yeah, it would be spearmint. Almost get like Christmas vibes out of that. That's the holiday vibes. That's really, really good. All right, let's go to B. And B is completely different. B is like bubblegum sweetness. Oh, that is Hubba Bubba Bubble Yum. That's what that one is. Oh, and over on this different, and this is my whiskey row glass. Over on the right side of this whiskey row glass is a little bit of mint. I'm picking up mint today. I wonder if that's, I didn't have any mints today, but I'm picking up a lot of like spearminty. But that's bubblegum sweet with a little mint on the side. There's a little leather on there. Oh yeah, there's leather on there. Oh, that one's got a lot going on. Every time I go in, there's a little bit something different. C. Okay, C's a little lighter than B. Getting a little bit of light, let's say grass notes. Like a garden feel. Oh, but then you go back in, kind of wafts up. Maybe I'll get a little mix. Yeah, when you get a little mix, something's coming out of the bottom of that. When I tilt the glass out the bottom part of it here, you just tell it swirling up. There's a very sweet. That's a little effervescent too. That little sweet, just lighter honey with some fruit over on the right. There's some berry over on the right. D. Okay, D is a little nutty. D has Boston baked bean feel to it, or the old peanuts that had that crusty, like not toffee shell, but like a maple, really crispy. They were bumpy all over. Oh, and then the bottom of the glass is like if you ate a bag of Planters and it sat for a couple hours. So it's not fresh peanut, but you kind of get that musty peanut, but there's still the hint of salt in there. On the sides, I get a little young hay. But definitely, that was different than the others. That one's got some Boston baked bean nuttiness, Planters peanut. And E, let's go to E. E is probably more cherry caramel. This one has, dare I say, more quintessential bourbon. Very sweet, very caramel, vanilla, maybe more vanilla than caramel. In the middle, though, there is, okay, in the middle of that glass is leather, maybe a little bit of cigar. And I don't want to say cigar, let's say tobacco, because I'm gonna automatically think it's a cigar blend, and it may not be. But I get leather, tobacco, really leathery. But sweet berry at the, I mean, not berry, just more bourbon, caramel, vanilla. Let's do the tasting. A. Go back to A. I still get that spearmint and honey vibe to it. Sometimes you go back and smell them all over again. That's why I do it, the nose again, because once you go through all of them, you kind of get change it up a little bit. Oh, there's just something spicy that just comes right out at you. The cinnamon, like a cinnamon toast almost. Oh, I was not wrong about that spearmint. That palate is immediately honey spearmint. It's like you mix spearmint gum with honey and vanilla, and then you added some buttercream to it, because it's got some cream, like, I won't say creme brulee because it's not that sweet like caramel. It just, it's kind of cool because I breathe in. The finish the finish doesn't go to the back of the mouth. The finish is sitting in the palate. But I breathe in and I get like it has some spearmint gum. You can feel that tingling in your mouth, getting that same kind of feel. Cool. I really like sweet. I really like the caramel toffee notes, but A has a different, hits you different. It's just really light spearmint, just perfect. You chew gum, you get that immediate flavor, and then it goes away over time. That's exactly what this was. It was just like throwing in a new stick of spearmint gum, taking a spoonful of honey, half a spoonful of honey, and the flavor was gone, but you still get that tingle in your mouth. That was really, really good. All right, B. Let's do B. Still getting the leather. The mint's gone away. I think the mint may have been left over from A, what I got before. There's some spice on it, but it's not mint. It's more clove. There's sweetness in the bottom. The sides are a little more tobacco and leather. Oh. That one is deep, rich. There's so much flavor packed in there that it kind of wafted up to my nose on the inside a little bit. Like, that. There's enough proof to make it spicy for you, and enough flavor. It's like I'm chewing the flavor on my tongue. That is outstanding, just lasting, and it's just sitting there, lasting. The lasting notes are all leather and tobacco, really leathery, which is probably equated to an older, sitting in the barrel, the wood char a little bit, but it's not the tangy wood char that I don't like. This is like I sat in an oak barrel and I aged the right way and I'm good. That's what it's telling me. Whatever B was is going to be hard to beat. That was a trip. That was so complex, leathery, tasty. Just felt like I was just chewing on goodness, and it was liquid. Anytime you can feel like you're chewing the liquid, the bourbon's done its job. Okay, C is, I got light honey sweet with berry the first time. Now I'm getting way more toffee, more, not so much caramel, but butterscotch. Butterscotch with tobacco. There's tobacco in the middle and butterscotch on the outsides. That's what this is, but C is so good. B and C have just, wow. Okay, definitely more berry on C. Getting a lot of the berry, not quite Buffalo Trace type berry, but there's creamy berry note. Okay, C was good. Finish, not quite what B was, but not bad. Definitely not bad. I feel C is there's a buttery cream, that strawberry peach, like you mix strawberries and peaches with milk, and kind of an aftertaste of that, almost a cereal, Fruit Loop cereal. After you've eaten the cereal, that the milk has the good flavor on it. That's kind of what C is. All right, let's rock D. Okay, D. I'm still getting a lighter note to D, like hay. I pick up hay, and so far I've been pretty good on these blinds at picking out the younger bourbons that kind of have this hay, dusty old grass, white hay. It's like going back to the days, my old days, you combine a field and you have those stalks left over and they dry out and there's a little dust on them. And then you get nut again. It's definitely still has that Planters kind of, I'm getting more Planters this time than the Boston baked bean kind of nut. It's definitely just peanut. That's all I'm getting now is just peanut. Nutty, salty, sweet. The sweet's hard to pick up. The sweet's a toffee, but almost an overcooked toffee, if that makes any sense. It's very strong. What I like about D is the palate doesn't start out super strong. It doesn't zap and then goes away. It actually built up, and it's still there, sitting on the top of and to the back of my tongue. And there's a sweetness sitting on there. It's like, D surprises me because on the nose it's light, it's fluffy, it's almost hay, and I almost don't like it. But the finish just wants to keep going. That's pretty cool. Okay, D was a surprise. Wasn't as nutty on the palate as it was on the nose, and the finish, the palate started light and then built up, and then the finish just lasted. It's interesting. So far, there's not a bad one in the bunch, so yay for me in my pocketbook. Kind of throws me off for what I was tasting the other day, though. But let's try. Maybe E will be the one that says, no, you were right. So we'll find out. But I don't think so, because E is still leather, tobacco, very the bourbony. It's kind of like I think B was too. Very the quintessential bourbons, the vanilla, caramel, with some spice, some baking spice on it. And baking spice is just kind of the overall term for the proof that you smell. Whoa. Holy smokes. Another deep, complex, I don't even know where we go with this. Somebody driving outside on a four-wheeler or something. Holy cow. That had so much going on. It killed it. It had so much. There was sweet. There was leather. There was a little bit of tobacco. Not so sweet. More deep, darker notes. Like woodier, like char wood, but not bad. This wasn't the wood from before. This wasn't the leathery wood. A little bit of leather here. This was more oak. This was more in your face. There is a little bit of nut in that one, but it's not peanut. And I only say that because it has like a salty feel on a crust of a peanut. The before they take that crust off, but it's mixed completely with caramel. That is the most caramel I've had on a bourbon yet today. Light honey on the back end, but heavy caramel, heavy butterscotch and toffee. All three of those sweet things that you can get on bourbons were mixed together in that one, with a little bit of salty peanut, and that finish is just, the finish is just kicking butt. It's still going. It's still going. It's still going. Why am I doing this to myself? I mean, I get to drink 5 outstanding bourbons, but I'm going to tell you right now, Kentucky Owl kind of ticked me off because I paid $165 for it. I wasn't pleased with it. I can't pick that out in this. All of these are hitting in a different way. All of these are really good. I'm going to go off camera and do a little back and forth on these, and I'll get back to you with the results because I'm going to have some fun here. Like I said, none of these are awful. None of these are bad. None of these even go into the category of, whatever's last here, because these are all over $100, I wouldn't spend the money on again. And maybe second to last, I wouldn't either. The top 2, wow. Yeah, that's where you spend your money. You don't just get a deep nose. You don't just get a deep palate. You get a finish that lasts and just hugs you and wants to take you someplace. And just, you can sit there and you can go sit in your garden, or you find that sweet spot in your life where you're just calm and you take a glass of this and you go and you just sit and you're like, I'm okay. And that's what the prices are about. You can drink whiskey for cheap, and there's some really good stuff out there. You want that deep experience that takes you away. Yeah, you got to pay a little bit for it, and this is proof of that. So without further ado, we're going to go into my last place. I have my whiskey book style podium here. Third place will be Terry Pratchett Guards. Why that third place? Just because the book's shorter? Actually, Terry Pratchett, freaking just a genius author. If you're into kind of weird fantasy quirkiness, there's nobody who does it better. Second place is Bernard Cornwell, the Saxon Tales series. This is the one they made the series on Netflix about. And today our top podium is Anton Meyer's Once an Eagle. Okay, let's go last place. And last place today was C. C was lighter. It didn't have the punch everybody else did, but still really, really good. It was the berry, light honey, butterscotch tobacco. It wasn't even the one I got the light hay on. But anyway, let's find out which one. Wow, really? Am I right? So last place, Remus Repeal Reserve 7. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. I was hoping that one would kind of kick butt today because I've never had that before. I've heard so many good things about Remus. But again, 6 didn't knock anybody's socks off, so maybe 7 isn't there either. So last place, Remus Repeal Reserve. We'll just set that over here somewhere. Second to last place is D. Now, D had the most interesting finish I've ever had. You first sip D and it's light, and on the nose it's the one that was peanut, and I got the youngness out of it. The finish was the coolest thing ever because it built up. If it was just a battle of finishes, this one might have done higher, but nose wasn't good. The palate was I wouldn't say it wasn't good. It was just lighter. It just didn't have the punch everything else did. So D, oh, please don't be that one. D, oh, wow. Yep, D, Kentucky Owl. I want to say Magister, but it's not Magister. It's Meister, Maighstir. Yeah, don't do this to me. I don't want to math on video, and I don't want to English on video. Stop it. But yeah, the Kentucky Owl. Would I buy these two again for the prices? No, I just wouldn't. Okay. But we digress. Let's get to the winners. Let's get to what's going in the whiskey book as good to go. And hey, I'm going to tell you right now, my top 3, it's kind of what I would have picked. So I never had the Remus before. Kind of a disappointment, but that's okay. Third place is A. And which one is A? A is, I should have guessed this. The Barrel Whiskey Private Reserve, 123 proof. This stuff right here, spearmint, like it's a different flavor. It's a different experience. It even like sometimes on the nose is completely different. I totally expected the palate to be different than the nose because I got so many spearmint and honey vibes. That's exactly what the palate was. And it tingled in the mouth. It gave me an experience. It was like, hey, let's take you further. Let's do something else. It was just really, really cool. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of happy with this blind. Believe me, I don't plan this out or anything, but the top two would have been the two that I would have thought would have gone. Calumet 16 versus Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. We're talking about two massive hitters, over $150. Like, you got to save some pennies to be able to get these, and I was able to do that, and I can't believe I did. So 2 is B. And what is B? Calumet 16. Doesn't surprise me. I love the 15. 16 takes 15 and just deepens and darkens it. Brings out those tobacco notes. Brings out those just wonderful, just lovely bourbon caramel. Like, it's just so good. And it, so when I got the bubble gum on, and that was just a cool, sweet experience for me and then the finish was just lasted and lasted, but it didn't last as long as E, which is, E is number 1. No surprise there. Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. It's now 200 smackaroos in my area. Will I buy it again for that much? Well, after this, maybe I will. That's one of those not everyday pours. That's your special occasion. That's your, we're going to save that for a rainy day. Guys, I can't beat it. It was the most, just the nose was more complex than everybody else. The palate was more complex than everybody else. I had a hard time picking out the individual flavors because there was so much going on. And the finish just, I had to eat some crackers and drink the water because it was so dense and long lasting. It was wood with burnt butterscotch and caramel, and it just so strong and rich. You cannot go wrong. I can go wrong not turning it the right direction, hopefully. You cannot go wrong with Cigar Blend. These two were both sweet and kind of give you the same kind of tobacco and leather and aged notes that were really, really good. The barrel was a completely different experience. I've had a couple, guys. Awesome stuff. It's different. These two like compete head to head with this one barely edging out this one. This one's just crazy experience. Kentucky Owl, cool that the finish, like, that's what got this over the Remus was the finish. Just, it was weird. The nose was light, the palate was light, but the finish just, I've never had that before, where it built and built and built and did really well. And then the Remus, we'll let it open up a bit. This was the neck pour. This was the first pour. I've never had it before. It may open up and just kick butt later. I've had that happen too. So, hey, thanks for watching Whiskey Book. We know what's going in the Whiskey Book this time. Yeah, no, this one's taller. It still looks taller, but on the podium, on the top spot is the Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. If you see it, pick it up, get it. It's worth the experience. So is Calumet 16, and my goodness, barrel coming out of nowhere. I've never heard of barrel till last year. Just a different experience to have, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time on Whiskey Book.